Welcome back. We are continuing forward with day 3 here at TESOL 2022. More fantastic information for us. My next guest is Michelle Benegas. And Michelle, you're a professor at Hamline University in Minnesota, but also an author. And you co-authored a book, Teacher Leadership for School-Wide English Learning. Now, I spoke with your co-author, Amy Stolpestead, on Wednesday. And the cool thing I think about your book is that writing it has led to some workshops that you guys are doing. Tell me a little bit about the workshops.
Absolutely. So this work, the Swell work, is designed to position ESL teachers as site-based instructional leaders in their schools. So the book really is intended so that any ESL teacher or English language teacher can pick it up and pull out some tools to be a leader in their own setting. That was the spirit behind the book in the first place, that we want teachers to feel empowered to be leaders in their schools. So it was really a natural progression for us to continue our work with TESOL and move toward this workshop series.
So someone who attends does what, gets what out of it?
Absolutely. So we bring in English language teachers and they generally are either interested in leadership in their schools or are already taking on leadership roles in their schools. And these folks come to us and we have a series of 3 workshops. The first one is called the Professional Development Workshop. And that one, they consider the needs of their colleagues, of their mainstream colleagues, and we demo what we call PD plans. A PD plan is like a lesson plan for teachers. So they think about, how do my colleagues need to do a better job respectfully serving the English learners in their classroom? And they choose PD plans that they will then deliver to their mainstream colleagues when they come back. So that's the first of the 3 workshops. It's really attending to professional development, because we know that a lot of English language teachers, as soon as they're hired, they're asked to do this. And they don't necessarily have the preparation to do it, and they don't necessarily have the time either to do it because they're planning their own lessons.
Right.
So the second workshop is the Contextual Language Workshop. And this workshop is an expansion on what we have called in the past academic language. So we've been really mindful of some of the problems behind the idea of academic language, that potentially it is an obstacle to some folks, and in some senses it is almost, some perceive it to be denigrating home language and resulting in home language loss. So the contextual language approach is twofold. It's considering the language of access. So teachers need to provide the language of access. That's what we're calling what has historically been academic language, but also the language of identity. So how can teachers hold up, value, and validate the language of identity as language that should be in the space of the classroom? So if that is students' home language like Spanish or Tagalog, if that is African American English, whatever it is, it's valid and valued in the classroom. So how can teachers do both of those things? And that's what that workshop focuses on. The final workshop is the Coaches and Administrators Institute. And this is where we bring building administrators, so principals, together with our coaches. And we talk about distributed leadership, because we know that teacher leadership does not happen in a hierarchical model. So we need to work alongside building administrators to talk about, how can we harness the leadership capacity that we already have in our English language teachers? And then together they write an action plan. And the action plan includes a needs analysis, they write SMART goals, they write a timeline, and they consider what do they need to do in their school in order to move the needle on better serving English language learners. So that's the series of 3 workshops. And when our participants complete all 3, they get a Swell badge that they can put on their CV, their resume, or their email, for example. And that shows that they've completed the Swell training.
Okay. So the workshops are meant for the English language educators.
Exactly.
But can mainstream teachers benefit from Swell?
Absolutely. So I'll say that this idea came about when we were thinking about this problem, that mainstream teachers don't have the preparation in their pre-service to meet the needs of English learners, and they seldom have continuing education. So how can we build capacity? And the current model is to hire a consultant, somebody like me, a professor, from far away to show up and do a 1 hour, we call it a sit and get, PD, and then leave. And what we know from the research is that that does not result in instructional change. What results in instructional change is site-based, sustaining, continuous coaching or support. And so that's exactly the aim of this model, is to remove somebody like me, to remove the outsider who truly does not know the context, and provide support and a framework for the insider expert to then become a trainer to their colleagues. So our mainstream teachers that work in schools with Swell coaches, in fact, we just got a lovely email last week from a science teacher saying, this has been a game changer for my work, which is really exciting. But they report how much they benefit from working alongside an English language teacher leader and attending their PD, attending their trainings and learning how to do better by their students. Because of course, we're all here for the same reason. We want to do a better job by our students.
So the book is the first step, and then perhaps attending the workshop is second.
Yeah, absolutely. We feel really strongly about we're a culture of sharing, right? Teachers share. And so if somebody comes to me and says, hey, can I take a look at your syllabus, or I'd like to copy this? Absolutely. And that's the spirit of the book, that you should be able to buy the book, pick it up, and go do your thing. But if you're looking for a greater community, and a lot of our English language teachers feel isolated. So if you're looking for a greater community and you're looking for a deeper dive into instructional coaching and into leadership, the Swell Workshop Series is for you.
And if someone is interested in attending, how do they do that?
Absolutely. So we have two options. We love to do our training in person. It's so much fun to get together with a group of English language teachers. And what we find is that in many spaces, they're deprofessionalized. So when you bring them together, it's this wonderful spirit of, hey, you're acknowledging my expertise. So I'll say, that's my personal favorite, is to come together in person. So we will come out to a school district, or we'll come out to a region, and we train a group of teachers. We go through this series of workshops. When we do this in person, it takes 5 days. And again, we bring administrators in at the tail end. They write their action plans. So that's one way to do it, is that we would come onto your site and train teachers. And we have trained about 500 teacher leaders across the country by this point. So the other model to make this more accessible is online. And this is also a model that we've done. And it's particularly fun because there's cross-pollination. So this past winter, we trained teacher leaders from rural Iowa alongside teacher leaders from Prince George County, Maryland, who were mostly immigrants themselves. So that was incredible to see how they learned from each other about that work. So we will be having our first global online virtual cohort, and that will be this summer in June and July. You can email swell@tesol.org for more information. Swell is SWEL. And this will be a series of 9 synchronous Zoom sessions where we come together, and you'll get to collaborate with people from around the world who are interested in this as well. But then also we have asynchronous content, so it's expanded. So if you're interested in learning more and diving deeper at home, there are resources for doing that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank
Michelle
you.
Benegas, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time. And of course, if the people want more information on the workshops, they can go to the TESOL website.
Absolutely.
And find out how to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.